This content is produced by Darknet Breaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
Every second, millions of encrypted packets flow through server farms and fiber optic cables, securing everything from global financial transactions to classified intelligence. But an adversary doesn't need to break that encryption today to steal the information inside. Using a strategy known as Harvest Now, Decrypt Later, threat groups are actively capturing and archiving encrypted TLS and VPN sessions right now. They are hoarding this data while waiting for the arrival of a cryptographically relevant quantum computer. These archives represent a massive, growing liability. Every secret captured today is already on a countdown to exposure, creating a present-day breach that will only become visible once the hardware catches up to the math. In response, the White House issued National Security Memorandum 10, directing all national security systems to migrate to quantum-resistant cryptography by 2035. While 2035 is the final compliance date, it marks the end of a massive migration cycle, not the beginning. Enterprise IT infrastructure operates on multi-year replacement windows that turn this deadline into a much more immediate problem. Long-term architectural planning requires organizations to look past the 2035 headline and identify the specific procurement gates that will force their hand much sooner. The National Security Agency has published the Commercial National Security Algorithm Suite 2.0, which establishes a strict procurement gate in 2027. By that date, the government will effectively ban the purchase of systems relying on legacy cryptography, like RSA and Diffie-Hellman. To understand what needs replacing, look at a tiered map of a standard cybersecurity stack: in-transit network traffic, firmware updates, and data at rest. Out of these three, the absolute highest priority is the in-transit network traffic layer, handling VPNs and key exchange. Because you will not be able to legally buy or sell standard network hardware starting in 2027, the migration cycle has to begin immediately. In-transit key exchange algorithms are the most urgent vulnerability because of the Harvest Now, Decrypt Later strategy. If an attacker intercepts your encryption keys as they travel across the internet today, they guarantee their ability to decrypt that specific session tomorrow. The industry solution to this immediate vulnerability is hybrid post-quantum cryptography. This combines trusted classical math with new algorithms like ML-Chem. Hybrid cryptography runs two independent key exchange algorithms simultaneously. Classical and quantum-resistant data streams braid together, securing a single tunnel. To access the data, an attacker must break both algorithms simultaneously. A quantum computer breaks the legacy math but gets stopped by the new algorithm. Hybrid cryptography acts as a zero-compromise safety net. Organizations can double their encryption strength right now without waiting a decade to fully trust the new standards. Once the network traffic is secured, the next triage priority is digital signatures. These are the cryptographic stamps required to securely validate software and firmware updates. The NSA urges vendors to adopt specific algorithms outlined in NIST Special Publication 800-208, specifically LMS or XMSS, for all firmware signing. But these signatures introduce a unique operational hurdle: state tracking. The hardware must physically keep a running count of how many times a given public key has been used, because the security degrades with each use. Fortunately, one piece of the legacy security stack remains highly resilient to the quantum threat: your data at rest. According to the CNSA 2.0 guidelines, symmetric key algorithms like AES-256 and hashing algorithms like SHA-512 are already considered secure against quantum attacks. While public key infrastructure and hardware firmware require immediate, complex overhauls, your symmetrically encrypted dormant data can hold the line. This cryptographic triage has massive implications for modern network designs, especially zero-trust architecture, which operates by removing implicit network trust entirely. Zero-trust architecture is entirely supported by a single foundational bedrock layer of PKI cryptography. When a quantum computer compromises algorithms like RSA, that layer shatters. Without cryptography to verify identity, every pillar above it collapses simultaneously. Without a post-quantum migration strategy, these foundational cryptographic guarantees will universally expire somewhere in the 2033 to 2035 window. Building a zero-trust architecture without upgrading the underlying cryptography creates a multi-million-dollar illusion with a hard expiration date. The next steps are clear. Organizations must immediately begin deploying hybrid TLS and transitioning to CNSA 2.0 compliant hardware for their network infrastructure. Encrypted data captured years ago is on a countdown to exposure. Delaying upgrades to in-transit encryption simply adds more data to the adversary's growing archive. Major edge providers and browser vendors like Cloudflare, Google, and Akamai have already begun shipping hybrid key exchange to their users. This shift in the technology supply chain means organizations failing to audit their procurement now will be left behind as legacy hardware becomes obsolete. The transition to quantum-resistant cryptography is now a matter of regulatory compliance and hardware refresh cycles. Audit your internal cryptography to ensure your next hardware refresh meets the CNSA 2.0 standards before the 2027 mandate closes the gate.